Hey everyone, and welcome back for another episode of the Cutting Room 101. And this week's topic was chosen by Anthony from the Random Mind. And since we already talked about overrated movies, he chose this week's topic to be about underrated movies. Now, the movie I'm going to talk about in today's episode isn't a movie that I think is phenomenal by any means, and it's not even a movie that I think is the most underrated movie out there. But it's a movie that I find to be pretty underrated, and I enjoy it quite a lot. It's an okay remake. It's not the greatest. It's not anywhere near as good as the original. But I find it to be underrated, so I'm going to talk about it, and that movie is Disturbia. Now, Disturbia is not quite a carbon copy remake of the original Rear Window, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 20 favorite films of all time list. But I will admit that I think it's a fun remake. It doesn't capture the suspense like the original does, but it's fun, and for what it is, I really enjoyed it. I think that Shia LaBeouf and his friend did a good job in this movie. They had really good chemistry, and they were able to bounce off each other throughout the film. And I think they were pretty funny together. It made for some funny moments, and I like the comic relief aspect of this film because it makes it more of a fun movie. And to me, it just made it more of a fun thriller, and I also like that they didn't just jump right into it. They kind of kept with the original movie and made it more of a slow burner. It keeps your attention, but they don't really start with the thriller aspect of the film until about halfway through. And I like that about the movie. It kind of took its time developing the characters, and I thought that really worked. But the main thing I liked about this movie is that, like I said, it's an adventure movie instead of just a straight up horror movie. They use gadgets trying to figure out if their neighbor is a killer or not, and I just thought that made it for a fun time. It's not the best movie, it's not the best thriller movie, but in terms of PG-13 thrillers, I thought this was pretty good. Sure, this movie can be predictable and you pretty much know how it's gonna end, but to me it's just a movie I can eat some popcorn, kick back and watch and know that I'm gonna have some fun and that it's just a fun movie to watch with some friends. And it doesn't hold a candle to Rear Window, and it's not in my top 100, and Rear Window's in my top 20, so I don't like this near as much as Rear Window. But I think in terms of remakes and PG-13 thrillers, it's better than what a lot of PG-13 thrillers are these days. So Disturbia is my pick for an underrated movie. If you like this channel, definitely subscribe. And also, if you're not subscribed to my main channel, Film Recall, and you'd like to be, you can click the link below and check out my reviews there. And subscribe if you'd like to. And be sure to stay tuned tomorrow to hear from Anthony from the Random Mind on his pick for an underrated movie. See you then.